Hello internet, my name is Lovelust and I am back with another makeup video. I really wanted to do a monochromatic look inspired by the Naughty Nudes palette by Huda Beauty. I'm going to be using a couple of other Huda products, and I really wanted to do a look inspired by this palette and just these gorgeous colors. The main color I really wanted to use is this one. This was just like, when I saw the palette, it called my name. So we'll be using the Naughty Nudes palette. I will be doing an unboxing as well, just for all my new stuff and just to see kind of, you know, what I like, what I don't like, what I'm into, that kind of thing. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, feel free to subscribe. And if you see anything in this video that you kind of want a deeper explanation on, feel free to let me know in the comments below. But for now, let's get started with the Naughty Nudes palette. So I've already washed my face. I've done all my skincare steps, but I haven't done any of my makeup steps. I haven't primed or anything like that. But I did want to just take a moment to just have a look at my skin. You can probably tell it's a lot more even than last time I was on camera without makeup. Very happy about that. So definitely a shout out to Good Molecules. These are the two of the three things I've been using regularly. I'm using the discoloration correcting serum, and I'm using the overnight exfoliating treatment. With the exfoliating, I don't use this if I'm gonna be anywhere near sunlight the next like 2 days. They say 1, but I've noticed a difference with 2. And I try to do this one early in the evening so I can just leave it until like later the next morning. Could just be me like just kind of overreacting or whatever, but I've noticed a huge difference. I've also been using the discoloration correcting serum. You can use this one morning and night. It says you can use it in combination with the overnight serum, but I've just kind of been not. Who knows, maybe I'm missing out on world-class coverage, but I'm sure that's fine. But yeah, we're going to quickly do a moisturizer and then we'll do a primer. Actually, I'll use this. This is one of my favorite primers. This one is the Smashbox Primerizer. It's a primer plus the moisturizer. This one's $50. That's too much. Way too much. So I've probably purchased this one 3 times and I do love it, but I want to try and find something similar for cheaper. Good Molecules has a priming moisturizer that I want to give a go. Okay, so primer is on. I do really like this one. It's really nice and light, really hydrating. And the way that I do my makeup for winter, everything is hydrating but one step, basically. I want my skin to be nice and hydrated, and if it starts getting like really dry and flaky, then I start getting oily. It's a mess. Anyway, okay, so I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in Deep 35. This is a little bit too dark for my current coloring. Just for whatever reason, all the inside that I've been doing this year has just, it's not been okay with my skin. My skin didn't authorize this, basically. All right, so I'm just taking the powder on the butt of my recently dampened beauty blender, and in the center of my face, basically, we're just going to press that powder in. Basically everywhere I get oily. So around my T-zone. You don't have to go super ham on this or anything, but I want this to act as a barrier for my foundation and my oils underneath. Sorry, I cannot talk today. All right, so we got our powder pushed in, and you can see my coloring is a little bit darker where we put the powder, which is fine because we're going in with foundation anyway. Part of the reason I do it this way is I notice a big difference in longevity and just the smoothness of my skin. And if you've watched my kind of everyday foundation routine, I do usually use foundation for this, but I have a different one I want to try that I'm going to be using next time I do my makeup. Basically, I'm just experimenting at the moment for what works best in the winter. Okay, so we got that on. I have my box of goodies here that I'll be doing for my unboxing, but I wanted to use a couple of things in it. So because we're doing a pretty monochromatic look today, there isn't too much in here that I desperately want to use. We're going to, do we want to do foundation first? I'm going to do eyes first. Okay. Hello. Hi. How are you? This is as close as we're getting, so enjoy. We're going to start off with my eye makeup. Again, we're using the Huda Naughty Nudes. Oh, I love that her palette has this big, huge mirror that lets me see both sides of my face at once. I do my makeup in kind of a weird spot. And my apartment has just the worst lighting known to man. It's very much a struggle. As for me, I learned the hard way that good lighting is very important when you're doing your makeup. That's the great thing about doing your makeup on camera, for camera, is you're in the environment you're gonna be in. I'm gonna grab my lightest concealer for this. This one is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, Camouflage Concealer? No, just concealer. Everything's in French here, so. Honey and 30. And you can see this is quite lighter than my face. As you can see from my chest, it matches. I've been struggling with getting my makeup and my chest to match because my face is so much darker than my chest. I'm going to just kind of put this over my eye. Good tip for makeup is make sure that whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. Even if it feels like you fucked up on the one eye, do it again on the other side. Because I promise you, just simple symmetry can make it look so much better. So I'm just using my beauty blender to blend out that concealer I put down. I'm not being super tidy with this. I just want it to soak up any extra and give me a nice even base to work with for the foundation. I could use an eyeshadow primer, but I've been liking how it looks under concealer lately. I've never been one to use concealer on my whole eyelid, but I've gotten into it semi-recently. And it gives me a nice bright eye as well. We'll see how I like it, of course. I'm always experimenting with my makeup. I never really do my makeup the same way twice, unless I'm trying to recreate a look that I've done before. Okay, so we are going to go in with Naughty first. It is slightly deeper than the color that I'm planning to highlight, which is Untamed, but we're gonna tap into Naughty. This is the NYX 16 eyeshadow brush. My favorite eyeshadow brush, actually. So I'm just gonna start right here on the outside, and you can see that nice deep brown color. I barely tapped into this, and it's just giving me color. It's giving me just everything I wanted. Ugh, I'm so happy I got this palette, you guys. So there we go. We have a nice wash of brown. Since I feel like since we did the concealer that's kind of brighter than but close to my skin tone, my eye doesn't look like I'm not fighting to cover up a bunch of eyeshadow primer or anything like that. Like I'm fine leaving it as is because we have to go in with our base anyway. So I'm taking this kind of out here. I want this nice darker brown to be visible. This is like the closest I'll probably get to a neutral eye on myself. So I'm gonna dip back into Naughty and do the same thing on this eye. Pack it kind of on the outer part and then drag it towards the center. The great thing about a nice big mirror like this is you can compare and contrast and adjust your shape. I always have problems with getting the shape of my eyes correct because my eyes are very different shapes, and I have a tendency to just follow what's already there, basically. There we go. So I'm bringing that nice and up and out. I really, really like how well this blended out though, and how much pigment there was. Just really nice. All right, there's a lot of really great colors here that I really want to dive into, but for today, I'm going to start packing on Untamed on the lid from here to here basically, and we'll see how that goes. I'm just using my color switch here, and then I'm gonna go into Untamed. And again, I'm just gonna kind of do a packing motion at the fore part of my eye. And again, I don't have like large eyes, and I have a lot of eye fat up here that tends to kind of hide what I got going on my lid. So for me to get like a nice smoky eye, you can see when my eyes are open, it's a little bit of a challenge sometimes. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is grabbing a purple from an unrelated palette. So I'm just gonna take that fluffy brush from earlier, dip into Untamed, and I'm just gonna kind of blow out the edges on that. I don't want it to be like a kind of a harsh line of, aha, that's where she stopped with her eyeshadow, get her. I usually use brushes that are meant for like the lower lash line on the lower lash line and on the top lash line. And I'm just gonna go back into the other eye as well and just make sure that we got that color all over. And because people usually don't do a dark color here, like in the inner eye, and I do have small eyes, like I said, so you'll probably notice that my eyes look smaller at the moment than they did when we first started. I just thought I'd mention it so you can kind of take note on why most people don't do dark colors from their inner eye. We're gonna go into Spicy with this kind of thick brush here. And I'm just going to kind of pack that into the outer corner of my eye and blend it into the crease a little bit. It's slightly darker than Untamed, but it's not competing with Untamed. All of these shades are very similar, which is exactly what I want. And I just want to make sure I'm getting the shape for both of these eyes. That is honestly the part I kind of struggle the most with my eye shape, is just making sure that they're symmetrical, because it's not necessarily following the shape of my eye, it's matching them both that's the problem. So I'm going to take that flat shader brush, dip into Spicy again, and we're just going to bring that down to the bottom lash line and connect that up. Oddly enough, these are the colors calling my name in this palette. I don't generally gravitate towards nudes. I was obsessed with orange for like, it's been like a couple of years now. And every time I do my makeup, I have to bring some orange flavor into it, I feel. That's why I'm avoiding some of the light browns in this. I want to try to do something a little bit different. All right, so we brought that down. So we have like a nice kind of darkness under the eye. And I'm gonna go into Hypnotic, which is a very light, soft brown. And I want a clean brush for this because I'm basically going to bring that to the inner eye area here and here. And just like in the inner corners, and blend that together with the Spicy that we put down before to help brighten my eye without using a bunch of shimmer or anything. And this is very close to my skin tone. This will make my eye kind of open up. A lot of people tend to do this only with sparkly colors, which is nice, don't get me wrong. Opening the eye with a nice matte gives you more of a natural appearance. We are gonna be going under my eye and all that with a concealer. Like, I'm not completely finished with my eyes, but we're gonna move on to the rest of the face so that we can come back to that later. Now that we have our eyeshadow mostly on, let's do brows. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I've been obsessed with this for quite some time, actually. I don't have a lot of brow hair, so I don't want something that's going to kind of pack that on. And with the scar I have here on my brow, it kind of changes how I can do my eye makeup, basically. So I really enjoy this micro pencil because it really just kind of gets in there. I don't really go for like a very natural brow at all. It's not really my style. I just kind of do a brow that I feel like, I don't know why I'm doing brows before foundation. I always end up having to redo the tail. So just a heads up. But yeah, I don't do a whole bunch with my brows. I mostly just kind of fill in that scar and line up the bottom so we have like kind of more of a straight, clean line. Yeah, that's honestly the most I kind of do to my brows. The real struggle comes in with trying to match this brow with my scar brow. This is one of the reasons why I definitely need a bigger mirror. I will say, like, for me, eyebrows are very much a struggle. Okay, so brows are done for now. Again, I'm gonna go in with concealer, clean them up, and then we'll revisit once I kind of get the shape that I want. We're gonna go in with our much lighter concealer, and I'm going to spot conceal with it. I know that seems like a weird thing. You'd think you would want a concealer closer to your skin tone, and you do. But I'm kind of canceling out some darker tones, and I'm fine if this goes gray because we're putting foundation over it. So for now, I'm just kind of getting rid of dark spots, lining up my brows, and I'm gonna go in and blend this with a beauty blender. But yeah, the reason I'm using such a lighter concealer is I want this to go gray to cancel out the darker spots. It's the same way that if you've ever seen someone use a foundation much lighter than them, they go gray. I want that gray effect, basically. And just the top of this, just go through and blend it out. And again, this can look as crazy as it wants to because we're going over this with foundation. I really want to try a trick that I saw for places that you get like wrinkles and deep lines, to use a eyeshadow primer. I really enjoy doing my makeup and seeing the finished look and stuff like that. I gained a lot of confidence in myself when I discovered makeup. So we got all the concealer that we were spot concealing with on. So you can see kind of every place that we had kind of a darker spot, we now have more of a gray look, which is literally what I wanted. So I'm gonna take my eyeshadow primer. This one is by Urban Decay. I get my smile lines like right there. So I'm going to blend that with my sponge. And we already look nice and crazy with the lighter concealer anyway. So we're gonna go over this with a foundation. Now that I look decently crazy, today's foundation is gonna be a little bit of a mix. We're gonna use the NYX Born to Glow foundation. I don't know, this is such a weirdly packaged foundation. I'm also gonna be using, I just got this in because Cover FX is like 50% off on Sephora because they're phasing them out for whatever reason. And they make very nice foundation products. So I'm just going to go in with these drops. And as you can see, this is pretty much my exact coloring. I just like mixing them kind of in equal parts. You can see that's a little bit more neutral. The one I put on first, the Cover FX drops, is a little bit more bright. So when I mix them together, I kind of get my highs and my lows, basically. All right, so I'm just going to blend that out. In there, so you can see that kind of matches my chest really nice. We need to blend it out a little bit more. And you do want to bring that into your hairline. Just make sure you clean your hairline after you wash your makeup. That's one of the reasons I remove my makeup with a oil, is so that it can get into my hairline and break all the makeup up, because you know you sweat a lot with your hairline and stuff like that. That looks really nice even with that. I like it a lot. This is very glowy. We are gonna go back into our eyeshadow to tidy and blow things out and stuff. I'm gonna bring that down my neck. Okay, so we have our foundation on. I think it looks really good. It's a bit bright just because we used the Born to Glow in the drops as well. But I find that this is kind of where I'm at color-wise at the moment. So we need to adjust it. I don't contour, but I do highlight. So I'm going to take that same Honey in the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and we're going to brighten my under eye. This is the first time I've found, you know, just drugstore stuff in my color. For those of you that don't know, I moved to Canada about 8 years ago. And when I first moved here, nothing. It's only been literally this year that I've started seeing my color in the drugstore. And I'm making sure to get under my eye where I get a lot of wrinkles, usually. Make sure you blend that area a lot before you put on powder, because you don't want to set your wrinkles, you know? You want to set your concealer or whatever. That looks nice and bright now. Because we use a lot of dark colors, I want to make sure that my eyes are bright so it helps it open up a little bit. All right, so my face is way too fucking shiny. We need powder. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Translucent Powder. This stuff right here, I will say IT Cosmetics makes some really great stuff for people not my color. But this particular powder is so fucking nice. I don't know if Urban Decay still makes it, but they had like a velvetizer powder. That shit was the truth. Like, I don't give a shit what nobody says. I single-handedly bought out stock of Sephora for that. That shit was amazing. All right, so I'm just taking a little bit too much powder, flicked off some, and I'm just going to press it in, and then I'm just going to basically melt that into the skin. I will occasionally use this under my makeup and then on top again. When I tell you, it's so good. Like, you see how that just, like, I look smooth, velvety, flawless, whatever. So any residual powder, I'm just taking other places where I don't want it to be shiny, basically. So you're probably thinking, well, that looks kind of powdery now. It do. But I got my spray. So this is from Makeup Revolution, their Rose Fizz Makeup Fixing Spray. And I really like this one, actually. So that'll get rid of the powdery look to the skin, giving more of like a natural look without it being so shiny like it was before. I love it. Okay, so eyeshadow. We're gonna go back into that small like shader brush, and I'm gonna go back into Untamed, and I'm just gonna start with the bottom lash line, and I'm just smudging, pressing. I just want to get that a little bit more defined, and we'll do that for both eyes. I'm not going all the way in with this, just until like this area I'm leaving blank. All right, I'm gonna go back into my fluffy blending brush, dip into Untamed a little bit, and we're gonna bring this out just a little bit because a little bit of it got lost while we were doing our foundation. I like to make sure I get the spray on my eyes. It helps the powders kind of look good together, and I always go back in to touch up my eyeshadow later anyway. We're good with that. Let's go back into our brows that I should have done now is when I usually do my eyebrows. Do a couple of little hair-like strokes at the front to just kind of help fill in that shape. Oh, I just love how like smooth and flawless it looks right in the T-zone area. I really love that. All right, let's get into cheeks and highlights. So one of the reasons I felt really drawn to this eyeshadow palette was this blush. Like, I fucking love it. Becca used to make these luminous blushes. This one is in the color Dahlia. This Dahlia and Tiger Lily are the colors that I have. I don't know why they discontinued them, and then they went back to making Champagne Pop. Becca is that brand that like could have been great, but like they fell off like all by themselves. Like nobody was coming for them like that. You know, they had their niche. I feel like they just don't know what to do outside of that niche. All right, so blush placement, I'm just putting that just kind of back here. I always start it back here and then bring it forward. And you can see that is glowy. So it's kind of doubles as a blush and a highlighter, which is something I like. I don't know about everybody else. And for this look, I really wanted to go kind of ham on the blush because it matches the eyes so well. Like, how nice is that? Blush placement is really one of those things that I feel like you really have to work with what you have. Like, I put my blush back here and then I blend it, but I feel like it truly is one of those things that you kind of have to figure out where you want to put yourself. I don't contour, so I don't have to worry about, oh, my blush is blending with my contour and it's making it look muddy. I use all of that space for blush. And I make sure that I blend out the front so it's not just suddenly blush. But yeah, these luminous blushes are just so good. It's like my favorite thing, and it goes so well with this. I have two highlighters I want to use, and I think they'll both, this one I'm going to use more on my face. This one's from Revolution. It's called Make an Impact Highlighter Reloaded, and it's like a rose gold kind of color. It's just gorgeous. It's like a pinky rose gold. I really like it. But I brought this one because I'm gonna dip into this purpley pinky shade. This is also from Huda Beauty. These were limited edition highlighter palettes, so I don't think you can buy them anymore. I've had this 3 years, 4 years. I picked this up when I was working at Sephora, and No regrets. I'm using the same blush brush that I was using before. It's a Sephora brush. As you can see, that's so much. Okay. And for the high part of my cheek, I'm just gonna go in with that. And this is definitely more purple, which is what I wanted. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Again, we're just gonna dip into that, tap off any excess, and then I'm just gonna go right to the highest point of my cheekbone. There we go. The way Huda's things look on darker skin, I was planning to get a couple of those smaller palettes she did, but because the Naughty Nudes palette has them in them, I'm probably not going to anymore. Okay, let's do lips and then we'll finish eyes with that highlighters. I have a little mini size of the Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipstick. This one is in the color Griselda, and I felt like this would be really nice. So I really like Fenty Beauty. But I always feel like I already have what I want, kinda. This is going on so nice. As you can see, this one's a lot closer to my skin tone. This one's in 45 tan. Imagine me putting on tan. Like, COVID's stressing me out. Light enough to put on tan concealer and shit. And I'm just going to beauty blender that out. Okay, that's good enough. I always struggle with lipstick. I don't, like, my lip shape is fine, but it bothers me. It's not, I don't know, it's not symmetrical, I guess. But yeah, eyes, lips, and cheeks all match. I might go back in with that blush one more time to darken it up. I'm just gonna darken that kind of on top of and under the highlighter. Because this is shimmery as well, I think it'll help it blend together anyway. So great thing about highlighter is the more you work it into the skin, the better it looks. So not bothered by that. All right, that looks good. So speaking of highlighter, this one, I mentioned earlier that I want to tidy up my brows a little bit and stuff like that. We're gonna go in with this one. It's kind of a bigger version of the one I was using earlier. And then we're gonna dip into this highlighter. I don't wanna go ham on this. I'm just gonna highlight my brow bone, inner eye, and that's it. This is one of those highlighters that it just looks really good no matter what you got going on. So I always feel like reaching for it. I have a lot of highlighters, I will admit. This one, it definitely looks more golden on the skin, on my skin. But that pinky tone in it saves it from being just too gold for me. And I'm gonna dip into that blush as well. And I'm also gonna bring that where we put that highlighter. I got a little bit too much, so I'm gonna go back with the highlighter, but yeah, I wanted a mix of the blush and that highlighter for the inner corner to really kind of perk it up without it being too much, basically. So I'm gonna take that highlighter again and tidy up where we kind of pushed too much on our brow bone. I want it to be a good mix of that mauve-y tone and the gold. And I want that mix in my inner corner as well. So yeah. It came out more orangey than I wanted, but that's fine, honestly. I feel like we should do a little bit of that orangey mix on the cheekbone as well. There we go. Yeah, that's the look. Give me a second to adjust the hair and I'll be right back. Okay, hair's fixed. Makeup is done. What do we think? I think personally, I should have not done the bright pink highlighter here, and I should have done this mix of the two to get that orange color, that complementary orange color, like on the cheekbone. What do you guys think? I didn't really think about it mixing to make orange, but here we are. I kind of want to clean it up and redo it. I really liked that orange mix, but I want it to be a little bit more monochromatic, I think. Great thing about makeup is you can always wash it off. I will leave that highlighter in the inner eye though. I really like it there. I'm gonna go in with that pinky purpley color. It goes such a nice purple on the skin. I can't believe I forgot how much I love this highlighter. I'm gonna go back into Untamed and bring that higher up on the eye. All right, so I bet you're thinking, well, you're done now. I'm not, because I completely forgot about lashes and liner. My go-to eyeliner has been the Loveless Disco Epic Ink Pen. I think this was like a limited edition of their Epic Ink Black, but I bought backups actually. I bought hella backups because they were on sale for like $6 and they're so good. Like they're amazing. So I'm going to do my eyeliner. I'm gonna start at the bottom of my bottom lash line. All right, so once we got that, I'm just gonna bring it in and connect it to the lash line. And then I'm just gonna stamp that in to the inner corner and fill in the blank spots. Yeah, this is definitely my go-to liner. Like, how nice is that? Losing my mind, so nice. Again, I'm gonna bring that in from the bottom lash line. And then from the tip of that, bring it into about mid-eye, connect it to the lash line, and I just stamp the side of it to line the inner eye and then fill it in. It helps that this pen is just so good. And I like doing my eyes this way because it brings it up. I mentioned it earlier, but my eyes trend down. Doing it this way brings my eye up and just helps my eyes feel a little bit more open to me. I like it. I have absolutely no idea what happened to my eyelash curler. This is just the life I live. My favorite mascara is from Benefit. I don't use shit else from this brand. Their range for darker skin is trash. I don't like this brand, but this this mascara pops. So the way that I do my mascara, I actually learned this from the makeup artist that works for It Cosmetics. I take it and I curl it up. And this helps my eyelashes curl in an upward position. It helps separate the lashes and it gives me some serious length. Like you can see that's already angled up. And I just do that for all of my lashes. It definitely helps to have an eyelash curler, but I don't know where mine is. I was thinking about putting false lashes on, but I've been at this for like an hour and I'm lazy, so apologies. So because my eyelashes curled down, you can see they're still curling down, but they look a lot fuller now. Like if you compare the eyes. So yeah, if you don't have an eyelash curler and your eyelashes tend to curl down, do that curling up technique. It helps. Obviously an eyelash curler is gonna help better, but the two techniques combined, your eyelashes will be looking good. My skin is slowly getting better, but I have a lot of dark spots and things from just being a diabetic and having skin issues. This is probably was one of my favorite NYX lippies. I'm gonna go over my lips with this. It's a bit of a lighter color. All right. I feel like it looks a little bit lighter now. I feel like we're done though. What do you guys think? I personally really like how it came out. I always have trouble with like monochrome looks. I love them. It does look very different in person, I would say, just because the brow shadow, there's more of a gradient than you can see on camera. But I'll put some pictures here. I'll put some pictures here of how it looks in person, but I think it looks really cute. I look kind of dolly, which I like. This is like my go-to look when I want to look dolly. I'll have to practice a little bit more with my eyeliner because I want it to sweep up a little bit more. So basically make it a little bit bigger. But I think it looks really good overall. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next video for me is going to be an unboxing. I already used a couple of new things that I got, but I really wanted to use them for this look. I've just been dying to do a monochromatic look. I'm gonna have to find a different color blush maybe, but other than that, I really like how it came out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like monochromatic looks? Do you want to see me do a different color? Let me know. I am down for whatever. But yeah, I've been Lovelust. This has been my face, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.